Welcome to Learn IT with Mr. P. Mr. P speaking here. We're going to dive into one of my favorite utilities for IP network administration and diagnostics, as well as cybersecurity, NMAP. It should be definitely part of your IT toolbox. Hey, this is Mr. P here, and I'm going to introduce you to one of my favorite utilities called NMAP. NMAP, or Network Mapper, is free, it's open source, it's available on Windows, Macintosh, Linux, and many other distributions. It is useful for a lot of different things. Specifically, you're going to look at IP networks, see what vulnerabilities there may be, learn what IP devices are available, and learn about TCP/IP ports. There are ports that are running under TCP/IP that are there for certain functions. So let's dive right in. I'm going to start doing this right on my loopback address of 127.0.0.1. And you could do this yourself. It'll work on pretty much any computer that you have NMAP installed. If you need to get more information, please go to nmap.org. Those are the people you'd have the binaries from, the executables. You can install it right from their website. And they have a lot of information about bug fixes and updates and documentation. So let's try this right away, and I'll type in nmap. And again, our loopback address is going to be the same, 127.0.0.1. And I'm going to hit enter. And it tells me that it's scanned my local host of 127.0.0.1. And it shows that there's only one port that is open, and there are 999 closed ports. The one that's open is port number 631, and a little research would tell you, and it tells you what the service is, IPP, or Internet Printing Protocol. What I mentioned before is that you want to see what ports are open, because sometimes your computer is going to require that certain ports are open for certain activities. If you have a port that's open that doesn't need to be, that's a vulnerability. So you want to be very careful when you look at your IP network to see what ports are open, if they should be or should not be, and also to close those up if they present different vulnerabilities. Each port will have different vectors or different ways to attack them. So let's take a look at some other IP addresses on my network. I've done a little research before, and I know that I have some active IP addresses here, so I'm going to type an IP address of nmap, command 10.0.0.219. This happens to be another client PC on my network. It will be different IP addresses on your network, no doubt. And again, I have gone through, and this tells me that all 1,000 ports on this computer are closed. So this is a pretty shut down computer. It's communicating an IP. But let me take a look at a printer. I have a Hewlett-Packard printer running on this computer network, and I'll type in nmap 10.0.0.108. This is a Hewlett-Packard laser printer. It's pretty ancient, but it still works. So it's going to take a few moments to look at this one. And I have 8 different ports that are open. And you notice that it has HTTPS and Hypertext Transfer Protocol port 80, very familiar to anybody who's ever worked on web servers. And that's because my printer, like many printers, has its own built-in web server that enables the user to configure the printer, check for ink or toner levels, etc., etc. So this particular port has a lot more. This particular IP address has many more things that are open. Now it's kind of cool. I can actually do something here with a dash O, uppercase O at the end. And this will tell NMAP to look at the operating system that's actually running on the device, the IP address that I'm looking at. So it's another options. There are many more that you can use, but I like to use the dash O to see what's going on here. And it says, oh, you need root privileges. So I'm going to do the same thing, but type in sudo. Sudo means super user do, and I'll type the nmap, and I'll do the same IP address, and you'll see the difference now. Again, uppercase O is not the same as lowercase o, so be careful when you type these commands in. And hopefully it'll get past the problem that it had before. And yes, as you can see that, OS detection has been performed, and it says the operating system details are HP LaserJet printer. So I can use this technique to look at the operating systems of any target TCP/IP client on my network. It should tell me if it's a Linux box, if it's a Windows box, if it's a Macintosh or other operating system. And in this case, it even gave me the MAC address, the actual physical hexadecimal number of the computer that is on the device on the network. It's actually built to the network card. What's kind of cool, if I can do an NMAP on my own, I can use the loopback address. And again, with the dash uppercase O. Oh, need that again, sudo. Don't forget that. So again, I'm checking my loopback address, and I'll see if it can identify what operating system I'm running on this computer. And it's done. It's given me the operating system, the Linux kernel 2.6.32. If you have a lot of different Linux computers or Unix computers, you want to make sure that your kernel is up to date. This is a great way to do it. It will give you that information as a network administrator to say, oh, I have to update this. This may be a vulnerability. Again, looking at the ports that are open and actually looking at the actual kernel. And if you are someone who's attacking a network, you can use that information to tell you how to penetrate the network. NMAP also has the ability to scan. If I want to do an NMAP, I can actually scan my entire network. And I'll show you how to do that. I start with 10.0.0.0, and I'll go to 255. So this is going to actually scan all the IP addresses that may be on my network. And I'll hit enter. And it's going to take a few seconds because it has to start as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. up to 255. And it found 7 hosts on my network. Obviously, you have a larger network with more clients. It'll be a lot longer scanning process, but this is a very powerful tool for anybody who's looking at it. And I can see that there are different ports and different devices. My gateway address is loaded here, and I can see that I have my CM tower. This is my tower that I'm running. It tells me my IP address. So again, very powerful, very easy to get started, and please like and subscribe, and tell me if you have any other questions about using this utility or others, and I'll be happy to start filming a video for that. So thanks again, and have fun. Hi, hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe, but more importantly, leave a comment so I know what type of topics you'd like me to go into next time, what things you'd like me to explore in more depth, and certainly how I can help you on your journey to become an IT professional. Thank you again.